Hey Reddit, I never thought I'd be here telling my own story, but after months of navigating a betrayal that turned my world upside down, I can finally say that the satisfaction of watching it all unravel for them is truly, utterly unparalleled. Liam, 27M, was for about a year and a half. I was in what I thought was a committed, loving relationship with Olivia, 25F. We met at a casual gathering through mutual friends, and she was instantly captivating. Funny, intelligent, vibrant, and incredibly attentive. We clicked almost immediately. Our relationship quickly deepened, and after a year of dating, we decided to take the leap and move in together. She's a junior marketing coordinator at a reputable firm, and I work in tech. Our schedules aligned well, and our cozy apartment felt like a real home. I genuinely believed we were building something special, something lasting. About 6 months into us living together, Olivia's company announced a new, highly competitive internal certification program. Passing this exam was crucial for her career advancement and could lead to a significant promotion. She was understandably excited, and I was incredibly supportive. I told her I'd do whatever I could to help her succeed. That's when Noah, 29M, entered the picture. He was a senior analyst at Olivia's company, and crucially, he had already passed the same certification exam a year prior, even attending the same prestigious graduate program as Olivia. He offered to mentor her, to help her prepare. Initially, I thought it was great. A seasoned coworker willing to help? Perfect. But then the nature of their study sessions began to shift, and the first subtle red flags started popping up. These study sessions never happened at our apartment. They always took place at Noah's apartment, which was a bit further out in the city. And they would start late. Very late. Sometimes, Olivia wouldn't leave until 9 or 10 p.m., and she wouldn't get home until 1 or 2 a.m., sometimes even later. Lack of communication. During these late-night sessions, Olivia, who was normally glued to her phone, would either turn it off completely or just not respond to my texts for hours. If I called, it would go straight to voicemail. Her excuse? Oh, my phone was on silent, I needed to focus, or no signal in Noah's building. This was incredibly unlike her. She knew I worried when she was out late, and we always had a system of checking in. That system suddenly vanished. Alcohol involvement. When she did finally return home, usually in the early hours, she would often smell of alcohol. Not heavily drunk, but definitely like she'd had several drinks. When I asked about it, she'd claim, "Oh, Noah just offers me a glass of wine to help me relax after all that intense studying. You know, to unwind the brain." This happened consistently, 2 or 3 times a week. Frequency and duration. These study sessions weren't a one-off. They occurred 2 to 3 times a week, every week, over a span of about 6 weeks as the exam date approached. That's 12 to 18 late nights with another man, lasting hours, with alcohol involved, and no communication. My gut started screaming. Defensive behavior. One evening, feeling uneasy, I tried to be the supportive boyfriend. "Hey," I texted her, "I'm making a big batch of her favorite pasta. Want me to swing by Noah's with some dinner for you too? Take a break from studying." Her response was immediate, almost agitated. "No. Don't. That would be a huge distraction. We need to focus." Her defensiveness was palpable, completely out of proportion to my simple, helpful offer. Exclusivity of study partner. This was another huge one. Olivia had several other female colleagues at her firm who were also preparing for the exact same certification exam. I suggested, "Why don't you invite Sarah or Emily to join you guys? Or maybe you could study at the office library?" Her response, "Oh, Noah's the only one who understands the material really well. He's the only one who can truly help me. The others would just slow us down." It sounded convenient, but it felt like a lie. Accusations of insecurity. Every time I voiced my discomfort, however gently, Olivia would become angry and dismissive. "You're so insecure, Liam. Do you not trust me? Do you think I'm cheating on you with Noah? You're being controlling and possessive." "I'm just trying to advance my career." Her accusations of my insecurity always managed to shut me down, making me feel guilty for even having a suspicion. She effectively weaponized my love and trust against me. The breaking point came one Tuesday night. Olivia arrived home at 2:45 a.m., clearly having had several drinks. She stumbled slightly as she walked in, dropped her keys, and giggled. I was sitting up in bed, pretending to read, but my heart was hammering. Olivia, I said, my voice quiet, this is getting ridiculous. It's almost 3 a.m. You smell like a vineyard. What exactly are you studying? She immediately went on the offensive. There you go again. Controlling, possessive. I told you, we're studying for my future. You should be supportive, not interrogating me like a criminal. Supportive? I pushed back, my voice rising. I'm supporting you while you're out until all hours, drunk, with another man, ignoring my calls. I'm supporting your career while my gut tells me something else entirely is going on. I don't care how important this exam is, these study sessions need to change. Either he comes here, or you find a neutral place, or you study with a group. This stops tonight. Her reaction was pure fury. You don't get to tell me what to do. You don't trust me. You're toxic. She then gave me the silent treatment for the rest of the night and the entire next day. I overheard her on the phone with her sister, Sophie, telling Sophie that I was so toxic and controlling for questioning her professional development. Sophie, of course, echoed her sentiments, saying I was a red flag and Olivia deserved better. I felt utterly isolated and gaslit by her and her family. I turned to my own friends, and implicitly, to online communities. I started lurking on relationship subreddits, reading similar stories. The overwhelming consensus from friends and strangers alike was consistent: these were not study sessions. These were dates. And it was likely much, much more. I decided I needed more concrete proof before I blew up my life. I didn't want to be the insecure, controlling boyfriend she was painting me to be. I wanted undeniable evidence. Then, a stroke of luck. I casually bumped into Grace, one of Olivia's female colleagues, at the grocery store. Grace and I had met a few times at company events. I struck up a conversation. Hey Grace, I said, how's the certification studying going? Are you guys doing a study group? Grace looked confused. Study group? Oh, I wish. I've been drowning in material. Noah offered to help Olivia, but I didn't think he was helping anyone else. My heart hammered. So, he didn't invite any of the other women studying for it? Not that I know of, Grace said, shaking her head. It always seemed to be just Olivia he was mentoring. Kind of weird, actually. That was all I needed. My suspicions were no longer just suspicions. They were validated. The next study session was scheduled for Thursday night. Olivia left our apartment around 9:30 p.m., giving me a quick peck on the cheek and telling me not to wait up. I waited an hour. Then, I prepared. I grabbed my car keys, my phone, ensuring I had plenty of storage and battery, and a large paper bag filled with a couple of coffees and a box of donuts. I wanted to look completely innocent, completely unsuspecting. The supportive boyfriend paying a surprise visit. I drove to Noah's apartment building. It was a moderately upscale place, secure, with a concierge. I walked in, flashing my most charming smile at the concierge. Hi there, I said, holding up the bag. I'm just bringing some late-night coffee and snacks for Olivia and Noah. They're an apartment. I knew his apartment number from previous texts Olivia had accidentally left open. Just a surprise for their study session. The concierge, used to residents having visitors, just nodded and waved me through. The elevator ride felt like an eternity. My palms were sweating, my heart thudding against my ribs. I reached Noah's door. I could hear faint music playing from inside, something slow and jazzy. Not exactly study music. I took a deep breath, composed myself, and knocked. Firmly. A moment later, Noah opened the door. He was wearing an old, stretched-out t-shirt and sweats. His hair was disheveled, and his face instantly went from relaxed to utterly pale when he saw me. His eyes widened, a look of pure, unadulterated panic in them. Liam, he stammered, his voice cracking. What are you doing here? I held up the bag of coffees and donuts, a perfectly innocent smile on my face. Hey man. Just wanted to bring some late-night fuel for you and Olivia. You guys must be working hard. My eyes darted past him, into the apartment. And that's when she appeared. Coming out of Noah's bedroom. Wearing only Noah's oversized t-shirt. Her hair was messy, her lips looked slightly swollen, and she was clearly not wearing any pants. Her eyes, when they met mine, were wide with a dawning horror that was almost comical. My smile didn't falter. I even chuckled. Well, I said, my voice still eerily calm. Looks like you two were studying something a little more intimate than corporate finance. Noah's face was a masterpiece of abject terror. Olivia just froze, her hands flying to cover herself, her eyes locked on mine. I lowered the bag of coffee and donuts to the floor. Then, slowly, deliberately, I pulled out my phone. I unlocked it, opened the camera, and started recording. Smile for the camera, guys, I said, my voice steel cold. This is going straight to Olivia's parents. I'm sure her deeply religious family will be absolutely thrilled to see what their little angel is really doing at these late-night study sessions. Olivia shrieked. Liam. No. Stop it. You can't. She tried to lunge for the phone, but I sidestepped, keeping it pointed at her and Noah, who was now desperately trying to hide behind the doorframe. You really thought I was that stupid, didn't you, Olivia? I continued, keeping the camera steady. You thought you could lie to me, gaslight me, accuse me of being insecure, all while you were sleeping with your coworker? And you, Noah, you thought you could help her disrespect our relationship, bring her home smelling like cheap wine, and get away with it? Olivia was sobbing now, frantic. Please, Liam. I'll do anything. Don't send that. You're invading our privacy. You're crazy. Privacy? I scoffed. You forfeited all rights to privacy when you decided to betray me in my own home, on my own time, and then had the audacity to call me controlling for questioning your blatant infidelity. This isn't invading privacy, Olivia. This is called consequences. And this is just the beginning. I stopped recording. Enjoy your little study group, I said, a cold, satisfied smirk finally spreading across my face. I turned and walked out, leaving them both standing there, stunned and terrified, knowing their world was about to collapse. I went straight to my sister Phoebe's place, where I was staying. My hands were shaking, not from anger, but from a strange mix of adrenaline and triumph. I immediately uploaded the video. And then, I sent it. To Olivia's deeply religious parents. To her sister, Sophie, who had called me toxic. To her aunts and uncles, whom she often boasted about. I attached a polite, factual email explaining the full extent of Olivia's deceit, the gaslighting, the fabricated study sessions, and the evidence I had. I didn't add emotion, just cold, hard facts, letting the video speak for itself. The fallout was immediate and spectacular. Olivia's family, especially her devout father, was beyond shocked. They were furious, ashamed, and utterly disgusted. Her father called me, not to yell, but to ask if it was true. When I confirmed every detail, he was silent for a long moment, then said, "Thank you, Liam. We will deal with this." I heard later through the grapevine that he threatened to disinherit Olivia and cut her off financially for the scandal she brought upon their good Christian family. Her sister, Sophie, who had been so quick to call me toxic, was absolutely humiliated and had to eat her words. But the revenge didn't stop there. I also made an anonymous tip to Olivia's HR department, citing a hostile work environment due to an affair between a junior marketing coordinator, Olivia, and a senior analyst, Noah, providing enough evidence to trigger an internal investigation. I didn't send the video directly, but alluded to its existence and the nature of their collaboration. Noah faced immediate repercussions at work. Their company had strict policies against workplace relationships, especially between different seniority levels, and even more so if they involved deception or potential conflicts of interest. I heard whispers from mutual friends at the company that he was facing potential termination for violating company policy and for professional misconduct. His career, which he had apparently been building carefully, was now in jeopardy. Olivia's professional reputation was also irrevocably tarnished. Word spread like wildfire through her firm. Her colleagues, who had always seen her as the sweet, diligent new hire, now saw her as a deceptive, untrustworthy cheater who used her career ambition as a cover for an affair. Her chances of getting that promotion, or frankly, any significant advancement within that company, evaporated. As for Daniel? I was done. I never spoke to him again. I blocked him on everything. He tried to contact me, but I ignored him. I secured a restraining order for good measure. My journey through doubt, suspicion, and ultimately betrayal was incredibly painful. There were moments I questioned my sanity, moments I felt like an insecure, controlling jerk, just as Olivia had claimed. But in the end, I chose to prioritize my own well-being, my self-respect, and my future over a relationship built entirely on deception. The satisfaction of watching Olivia and Noah face the full, unadulterated consequences of their actions, professionally, personally, and socially, is the only balm for the wounds they inflicted. Olivia's carefully crafted image as the ambitious, innocent professional shattered. Noah's career potentially ruined. Their family shamed. All of it, a direct result of their own arrogance and deceit.